People, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown. Hope everyone is 13th for the 12th. We've got news to get through. There is, of course, the same news as there has been for ages. Strikes, cost of living crisis, everything's fucked, mainly owing to the people who are in power. It's important to remember that. So, because of course our government, what their plan is, especially with strikes and the cost of living crisis, is to make sure that the blame is on everyone else and not on them. You've got the left-leaning think tank, the New Economics Foundation, has released a study suggesting that 30 million people in the UK will be unable to afford a decent standard of living by 2024. Rising prices, below inflation increases in earnings, and projected increases in unemployment will result in 43% of households unable to put food on the table, buy new clothes, or treat themselves and their family, which is a 12% increase since 12% point increase since 2019. Now, there will be arguments to be made here, and it will be COVID. That's what the thing is. COVID is because of COVID, all because of COVID. Not pointing out the fact that every other fucking G7 economy is above where it was before COVID. Because all the other countries have grown, we haven't. Why? Fuck knows. Let's have a guess. Who controls the economy? Who has controlled the economy for the past 12 years? They're to blame. That's the reason. And I don't want you to think that I'm just massively anti-Tory. I am. But you also have to take into account the reality that if anyone is to blame for what is currently happening in this country, you have to first look at those in power. It has been 12 years of Tory rule. There is no one else to blame. You can't fucking look, start blaming strikers, start blaming, saying, like Rishi Sunak saying that the working people are being screwed over by those who are striking, who also happen to be working fucking people. By 2024, 90% of single parents and 50% of workers with children would fall below minimum income standards. And this is something that we have been seeing for a while. We see all the advice. How do you survive? How do you survive? It's never how do you live. We're at a point where working people aren't even given the decency of living. It is just about how you survive. Your life is no longer for living, it is just for surviving. The think tank has called for universal credit to be scrapped and replaced by a national living income. Universal basic income is a fascinating idea. There have been some studies done, some tests, experiments with universal basic income. Finland and Canada, I believe, have attempted to do an experiment with it. None of them ended up going to any length of time where you can gauge any information about it. They're all stopped early. I think that personally, I think that a universal basic income is a good idea, but I'm not a economist, and we keep on talking how would you pay for it. Tax rises is a great way, but tax rises is something that is used by everyone. Labour will say tax rises for everything when they talk about the economy, but how much tax rises is going to be needed, and how many times can you use tax rises as an excuse? You do need to grow the economy, of course. I'm not an economist, I'm just a comedian. Though I know that these aren't funny, I get that. I understand that. You know, this isn't stand-up to realise that. At no point where I writing these going, oh, this is a cracking punchline. I'm not. I like talking about politics, and I think it's interesting, and I think it's important for us to know. So always know who's fucking you. Speaking about people fucking us, over on Twitter, Musk has dissolved its Trust and Safety Council moments before it was scheduled to meet with company representatives. The council was an advisory group of nearly 100 independent civil, human rights, and other organizations that the company formed in 2016 to address hate speech, child exploitation, suicide, self-harm, and other problems on Twitter. It's been fascinating to watch Musk's takeover of Twitter, because you've got him supporting Republicans, showing a disregard for any form of freedom, claiming, as all free speech absolutists do, showing just how little care they actually have for free speech. Because this is all of the far right do the fucking same thing. I like free speech. We need free speech. And what they actually mean is, I do not deserve consequences. That is all that they're saying. Every last point of it. They do not care about your free speech. They do not care about your freedoms, not even close. There is enough evidence out there to show stupidity where it is. You just need to fucking see it. I mean, we'll get to a point with Musk. Twitter's former top safety official was forced to flee his home amid escalating personal attacks, including from Musk himself, with Musk misrepresenting their academic work about sexual activity and children in tweets. This is who he is. This is why we shouldn't have billionaires. Especially people like Apartheid Andy, who got money from his fucking dad and screwed everyone over he's ever fucking been near. He's not a hero. These little boys who fucking like him, ridiculous. Oh, he does good work. No, he doesn't. No, he fucking doesn't. This is where you're going to get fascism. You're not going to fight, because fascism is normally a country thing. You're not going to get that. You're going to get capitalist fascism, where you're going to have these massive companies who are going to be taking over and are going to be controlling everything. The time of countries has passed, really. You've got the power in these companies. Especially something like Twitter controls information. See them going after things like Wikipedia, because Wikipedia has a discussion before it does stuff, and Wikipedia has problems. There's no doubt in there. There's evidence Wikipedia has problems, but you have to have a look at it comparative. There's no perfection in this world. This is good news though. Researchers have reportedly made a breakthrough in the quest to unlock near limitless, safe and clean sources of energy, as they have gotten more energy out of a nuclear fusion reaction than they have put in. So that's interesting. Nuclear fusion involves smashing together light elements such as hydrogen to form heavier elements, releasing a huge burst of energy in the process, like how the sun, stars create light and heat. It has been it has the potential to be a sustainable low carbon energy source. So on the plus side, we're heading towards potentially having either clean energy or the world exploding. And I'm willing to take either at this point. I'm absolutely fine with it. Especially, if we did blow up the fucking world, at least we would stop having small dictators going on about how they're going to use nukes. Fuck it, go on, it's too late now, you little pussy. Finally, the former Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, ignored warnings that his kamikaze budget could trigger a backlash from the financial markets, which is according to Treasury officials speaking to MPs. They said that they did warn Kwasi Kwarteng about the potential issues in his attempt to destroy the economy, but he ignored them. And as they pointed out the advisors are there to advise. It is ministers who make the decisions. Which is why it should be remembered every time that they look to blame civil servants, that it's the ministers who make the decisions. So every time they go, oh well, civil servants aren't doing things, it's not them making the decisions, it is ministers. But then you'd have to actually hold people to account, and that's not going to happen, is it? A shorter one today, because we're getting to, I don't want to do the same news every single day, and the majority of the news is the same. And so I've skipped a lot of the news is the same before: cost of living crisis, wage stagnation, all of the same. So I hope your day continues, and I shall catch you tomorrow.